Puis regardez-moi dans le frigo, c'est un peu de vin blanc, Paula. De chez nous. Je crois qu'il restait une bouteille.
You're listening to Mr. Jean-Claude Biver. This is Ariel
Ouais, vous
Adams.
pouvez prendre une en bas.
The aBlogtoWatch.
C'est dans un carton quand vous entrez.
Geneva.
Hein? Ouais, la poney, ouais.
At the home of Jean-Claude Biver. Thank you for inviting us to your home.
You're welcome, Ariel. My pleasure.
I was here a couple of years ago. I remember I wrote an article called Biver and Me, and it was about spending a few days watching you work. And several years later now, I'm still very impressed by your enthusiasm and your energy. What are you having the most fun doing these days?
The most fun?
The most fun.
It's always the same. The most fun has never changed. It's R&D.
R&D.
Creativity, innovation. That's my fun. That's the best part of my job.
So on a scale of like 1 to 10 with innovation, what we're about to see in 2 days at Zenith, where does that rank for you on the type of innovation that you're working on? Scale of 1 to 10. How?
10.
That's a 10.
That's a 10 because it's the first innovation in the mechanical watch escapement since 1675.
I guess we're going to publish this after it comes
Yeah,
out
no
and talk
problem.
about it.
It's the biggest innovation since 1675. 1675, you have, I know that nobody understands it. I know this innovation will take years before it will be recognized. And that will be the sign that it's a great innovation. Great innovation are always criticized and always people bring it down. But the pendulum, which makes the watch work, was invented by the technique, the mechanism of the pendulum was invented by Huygens, 1675, Dutch mathematician who worked in Versailles for the king. And the king had watchmakers, the watchmakers of the king. And these watchmakers helped him to materialize his innovation into reality, the pendulum. Since then, every watch works with a pendulum. You know, okay, now it's horizontal, but
still a pendulum.
it's a pendulum.
Yeah.
It's a pendulum. This innovation is the first that has no pendulum. It's an innovation where you have 31 parts that you don't need anymore. 31 parts. Then you can do ultra slim watch. What is the highest? What is the highest part or in a movement? Sometimes it can be the rotor, but rotor is not necessarily a part of the movement because you can do a hand winding movement. So it's the whole mechanism, the whole escapement.
Yeah.
And that is the most fragile part. And it's the part that needs the most energy. It's the part that needs oil. It's a part where you have frictions. It's a part where you have the influence of temperature. And it's a part where you have the influence of magnetism. All this disappears with the innovation of Guy SEMON. No frictions, no oil, no magnetism, no sensitivity to variation of temperatures. And a watch never has the same accuracy when it is totally wind up or when it is 24 hours down.
Oh, and this one does?
This one has no change. 0 or 24 hours or 40 hours or 60 hours, it is like this, horizontal.
So the rate consistency is just horizontal.
After 60 hours, we still have an accuracy of 1 second in 24 hours.
Wow. So you
After 60 hours of power reserve being down, the total power reserve we have is 72. But after 60, we still have 1 second. So it's the most accurate watch ever produced. Most accurate mechanical watch ever produced. The only one with no oil, the only one with no friction, the only one with no temperature influence, and the only one with no magnetism influence. And if this, and 32 parts you don't need. If this is not the most, if this is not the most important innovation in a mechanical watch, then I ask myself, what is it? Because it's basic. It's like if you invent a new engine in the car industry. Okay, Tesla invented, or I don't know if it's Tesla, but somebody invented the electric engine, or somebody will invent now the hydrogen engine. Those are major innovations. But what is interesting, our innovation, quartz was a magic innovation, but it's not mechanical. So we have done what quartz has done, but with a battery, and we have done it with no battery.
How long has this been done?
Nothing long, but no, not long. For the innovation, it's 3 years when I joined. When I joined, as president of the watch division, I was informed about this project. And I was informed because I was told, listen, Mr. Biver, we have a special budget for this innovation in which we don't believe 100% because it's such an incredible innovation that we have put it aside. We want eventually to cancel it because we don't really know how it will develop. I said, but that's the particularity of innovation. If you want an innovation to be successful, it will never be an innovation. R&D, you always have the question mark. And this is the particularity of R&D. You can never assure and say this will work. So I said, okay, let's make a contract apart, outside Tag Heuer. Because this innovation, we could eventually use it for anything, for, how do you call it, when you have an operation on the heart, when they put stent? Stints. Yeah. We can eventually use it in the heart operation as a stint.
Wow.
So there are so many applications outside the watch industry. We can use it in batteries, for instance, and so on. So we said, let's make a contract with Mr. SEMON apart. And that gave me the idea to have the first synergy, which the group never has. The group is, contrary to Swatch Group, is not built around synergies. The group LVMH is built around individualities. The group has, I don't remember exactly, 80 companies, and each one is run individuality. You don't have synergies. You don't have one guy looking about marketing of the brands. In Swatch Group, you have, I was in a commission. We were checking all the marketing of each brand. We were checking all the products of each brand. We were checking all the production of each brand because we were checking all the purchasing departments of each brand. Help yourself. And here at LVMH, I was told, please don't touch. We want every brand to be independent. And I say, what a pity. We should enjoy synergy. Synergy is only positive. If my brother has an invention that can fit to my brand, why should I not ask my brother to give it to me?
Makes sense.
Or to sell it to me? I should take advantage of it. Synergy can never be something negative. Synergy is negative when somebody is commanding and is interfering into the brand and saying, no, 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 this is how we do at Hublot, I want you to do the same. That's stupid, because then you lose DNA, then you lose entrepreneurship, because people lose their freedom, people lose their identity, and then you make a disaster. So that was my first action as a synergy, and I explained it to Mr. Arnault. I want a synergy in the R&D, because R&D can be so large that we might find results that cannot fit only to one brand. Because at the R&D, you're looking to find direction. You find, for instance, you are looking to find gold that is unscratchable. But what did we find before? Before going there, we found how to make red ceramic. Ferrari Pantone 352, or I don't remember the number exactly, the same red in ceramic. And red ceramic is impossible to do. We are the only one in the world to have the same red. Because red, due to the ceramic and to the heat, the red pigmentations, they are burning.
Right.
So at the end you have rose or you have Bordeaux. But you don't have the real red of the Ferrari. If you have your red ceramic and can I give you some?
Oh, please. So the
So
R&D division
I said R&D, we should make it a division of the watch division. I mean, we call it the institute, the Science Institute of LVMH.
Where's it located? Is it mostly?
Yeah, it's in the Tag Heuer. Wait. Voilà. So, and then I said to Guy, now Guy, you go on. I trust you. You go. It's all yours. And Guy went on.
And 3 years later, now we're here.
And 3 years later, here we are.
Now, can this be industrialized?
It is. It will be industrialized. We will eventually sell it to others.
Oh, really?
Yes. First to this medical. How did you call it? The stint?
Yeah. But for the
Yeah, we will study this.
But is LVMH going to start getting into the production of silicon parts? Because right now I understand you use outside suppliers.
Mm-hmm. That will depend on the different contracts we might find. You know, depending on the contract.
So you need the volume to support it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good way to diversify business. It's what the industry has to do these days.
Of course. You know, it's
so they can keep production of watches
yes.
down.
And depending on the contracts or the opportunities, we might sell a patent, or we might sell the product. Selling the product means we will have to produce it by ourselves, so we will need facilities. And selling the patent, that's the easiest way. And we might have some contracts where we sell only the patent, and other contracts where we sell the parts.
Do you think there's a market for a mostly silicon movement? Not maybe 100%, but mostly silicon? Do you think there's a market for it?
Yes.
Or why hasn't there been that yet?
With Hublot, we are coming out next year with a silicon watch case.
Oh,
The whole case.
what about the movement?
No, okay, we start with the case. But I think there's no problem to make a silicon movement.
So why hasn't anyone done it yet?
Because silicon is a new material for the Swiss. And silicon is a material that is linked to Silicon Valley, if I may say. And as such, it is probably not considered as a very noble material. But for me, it is as noble as brass. I mean, brass. I mean, what a material. You can like it, you can dislike it, but
Very basic.
don't tell me it's a very sophisticated material.
No.
It's a material that has oxidations, it's a cheap material. I mean, but how many people are using brass in the movement? Many people. Or steel. So, not to use in the 21st century the materials that we have now. I mean, it's why? I cannot understand.
So there was a group, if I recall correctly, I think it was Patek,
Mm-hmm.
it was Rolex,
Yes,
and it was
and-
Swatch Group
Mhm.
together that worked on this silicon technology. And out of all of them, they've all eventually released something with silicon,
Yeah, they have.
but in a small way. Are they just holding on to some really good technology?
No, they go on.
They keep
The,
looking.
the R&D is, they keep looking.
So they're still working together. Where do
And
they-
Patek is using it.
Yeah, they all are a little bit.
Yeah.
Rolex has it in their women's
Yes.
watches.
Mhm.
which is interesting.
Yeah.
What about you as a collector?
And Zenith has it.
Mm-hmm.
On the open, you know, the El Primero.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can see it. It's a bluish.
I mean, is there a way of ever decorating it? Is that possible?
It's difficult because silicon is as hard as ceramic. This is why we do a silicon case, because we know how to master hard material like ceramic, and that is the reason why Hublot has started to try to make a silicon case. So, as it is hard like a diamond, it's the next step. It's just after the diamond.
I think a lot of people think that
It's difficult to make decoration. It takes time. It costs a fortune.
but it'll happen eventually.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you think that you being a watch collector separates you a lot from maybe some of the other managers that maybe aren't as interested in the product? Like, how important do you think to your success has being a watch collector been?
Hugely, because my success is Blancpain, which is a typical collector brand. My success is Omega, which is a typical, not watch collector, but a watch brand, if I may say. My success has been Hublot, which is an incredible watch brand in the sense that it has both sides. Hublot has the past and the future, and they fuse it together. Wow! So to understand Hublot, that's the next step. You can understand Blancpain, because Blancpain, or I say Blancpain or Breguet or Patek, I mean, you can understand this because this relates you to history and tradition and art and culture, which is something that people can rely on, that people can learn, that people can understand. But at the same time, to understand the future, that's different, because you need a certain freedom and you need the capacity to separate and to look to the future and then also to the past. Usually, people are more attracted by the past because the past gives you security, gives you confirmation and tells you what to do, because you can compare. The future, you cannot compare. You can only guess.
Risk and uncertainty.
You cannot compare you can only compare two options, two hypotheses of the future, but you cannot compare. In the past, you can compare. You can say, they did. This is how they did it in the 18th century or 19th. So the fact that, you have to turn it a little bit more. The fact that you have with Hublot the past and the future makes out of Hublot what I tell customers, your next watch. And the customer tells me, but what do you say the next? I said, yes, it's too early for you to buy a Hublot now. Go on, buy another IWC, buy a Zenith. You already have 2 Rolexes, so it's okay. And one day, you will be ready for me. You cannot start with your first car being a Ferrari. I mean, I have never seen somebody saying my first car when I was 18 years old was a Ferrari. No. Except a few kids of some kings or sheikhs. So it's the same. So Hublot is your next watch, because you must first understand the history. You must first understand the past. And then you must have a look to the future. And then you must see the future. You must understand the future. And then you say, wow, this is the link I want. And my idea came simply from Mr. Breguet. Mr. Breguet, 1801, he invented the tourbillon. He gave the patent of the tourbillon. It was given in 1801. We have the document in the factory. And Mr. Breguet, he was not a watchmaker. He was a member, of course he was a watchmaker, but he was a member of the Academy of Science of Paris, which was the leading academy of science in the world in those days. So it means the guy was looking at the future. If you are a member of the Academy of Science, you are not the old guy who looks to yesterday. He was looking to the future. He was avant-garde. His dials were avant-garde. The dials were wow. His movements were wow. Now, if Mr. Breguet would come back, I knock, Mr. Breguet, I wake you up, come on. And the guy comes out. Wow, he's here. Shakes his hand, his hands. And what shall I do, young man? I said, you know what you should do? We are all here big fans of you. We love watches. It's our passion. We want you to show us what would you do today. But please, go quickly because I can wake you up only for one day. So I want to stay with you the 24 hours, but please tell me what I should do. Do you think he will say, come on, let's do the movement like I did with brass? He would say, let me first know what do you have? What is available? Ah, you have steel. And you have steel that can never oxidize. Wow. And you have ceramic. And you have a special oil. And you have silicone. And you have this. He would be so delighted. He would say, you know, guys, thanks God. We suffered so much with these materials. That was the biggest headache. You are solving me all my problems. He would jump to the future. He would not repeat what he did in 1801. And that gave me the idea of Hublot. I said, come on, let's do that. Let's go to the future. And let's mix, because future alone is not enough. We should have future and past. And that was my declaration. No innovation, no future. And no tradition, no future. Which means we need both. And that's the trick. And that was the definition of the message of Hublot. Hublot is the brand that brings you to the past and to the future. It combines both.
Do you still sometimes ask yourself, what would Breguet do?
I'm going to ask the people on the 14th of September when we present the novelty of Zenith. I will say, this is an innovation of Mr. Breguet when he came back.
Oh, he would have approved that.
Of course.
He would have approved
He
that.
would have, because he is a scientific. He was driven by the future. He was not driven by the past.
But we still hear from some watchmakers that try to defend metal at all costs, right?
Yeah, of course. You always have that. You know, I was born, or I was christened as a Catholic. I never go to church, but I was christened like that. It's not my fault. My parents have chosen for me, my religion. Okay, so till I was 10, I followed my parents. And then at the church, the priests, they were speaking to me in Latin. Because the Catholic Church said we should speak Latin. This is the language everybody understands. Okay, maybe at the time of the Romans this was true. But in the 20th century, I didn't speak Roman. I didn't speak Latin. So I never understood. Of course, we learned by heart to say all these names, I don't even remember. Excelsior, Dei, blah, blah, blah. We learned all these names, and so we could repeat. But nobody understood what it meant. Till, at a certain moment in the 50s, the Pope decided we should do the celebration in the language of the country where we are. So if we are in Rio de Janeiro, we should speak Portuguese. If we are in Madrid, we should speak Spanish. Why? Because it will help people to understand what we say. And it will connect better people to us. Because when you speak the same language, that's already a first contact.
Yep.
There were guys in the church who said, no, we must go on with Latin. We are against that the priest should not be able to wear pants. He should, this you will always find. But at the end, modernity wins. And modernity has won.
It has to. You
Can't stop.
You can hold it back sometimes.
No.
You have a reputation for sometimes, or at least in the past, going online and responding to people that say things about brands. And you see what a lot of other collectors say. Do you still do that? Do you still see what other collectors say?
On Purist Pro and Time Zone and some German sites and French sites, I do.
Has their conversations changed over the years, or are they still talking about more or less the same stuff?
No, they've changed.
What are they talking about now?
They are much more progressive, and they have now accepted most of the things we have done with Hublot. Hublot had an incredible acceptance now. Okay, it took us 12 years, but now Hublot is accepted. We still have some people who don't understand what I do with Tag Heuer. I know people say, he left motor racing. Motor racing was the basement of Tag Heuer. Yes, I know. I know it better than anybody else. But what can I do if Tag Heuer, before me, left the Formula One racing and they let it go to Rolex? So once you have lost Rolex in motor racing, you have lost for Asia and Europe the major event, plus 24 hours of Le Mans. They also let it go. Plus Porsche, boom, they let it go. Plus Audi, boom, they let it go. So when you lose Audi, Porsche, 24 hours of Le Mans, 24 hours of Sebring, and you lose Formula One, then, okay, no, but you still have Indianapolis. Yes, but Indianapolis is typically American. I mean, Indianapolis in Europe, nobody is watching. So if you have only Indianapolis and McLaren, you cannot say, this is my DNA. You can say, in the past, it was my DNA. But you have to find a new DNA, or you have to find new universes that are completing your universe of motor racing. If I would have had only motor racing, I would have been so pleased, because then you have one world, one environment to work on. You have one single, you concentrate on one content, and you specialize, and you take people who are specialized in the motor racing. But if you end up with McLaren and Indy, you cannot say this is now my world, this is now my universe. It's part of the universe that has forced me to open other universes. And I have looked in the past, what were those other universes? And one other universe was in the 70s with an American rider, Hamilton, and with the brand 7-Eleven. It was beginning of the 80s, was cycling. So I said, let's take cycling back, because it used to be to us. Yeah. So we took cycling back, and then people said, cycling, motor racing is... I said, no, we also need cycling. And then we opened a new universe, which is music. Why music? Because music is the language of the young people. Young people speak one universal language. That's music. The music of the Beatles, to say something, it's an old group, but nevertheless, the music of the Beatles, you can go in every country of the world, you will hear somehow the music of the Beatles. So music is a language of the universe, and it's the language of the young people. And we need young people on board. So we said we go into music. And so on. So and then we had, in the past, they were also in a little bit in lifestyle. They had DiCaprio, they had Brad Pitt, they had Cameron Diaz. So we said, okay, That was in the past. Let's go now with a young, disruptive lady, Cara Delevingne, boom. Or with Chris Hemsworth, boom. And so we added another universe. And the last universe which we added was football, soccer. We took soccer. And then people say, yeah, but soccer was to Hublot. Yes, but not completely. Hublot cannot cover all soccer. Hublot can cover the crown of soccer, which is the World Cup, which is the #1 event in the world before the Olympics. They have 36 billion people who watch it. I mean, 36 billion times, because we don't have 36 billion people living. So 36 billion times we have seen people have watched the World Cup, football, soccer. So we took Hublot has then the Euro, which is the European Master, and they have the Champions League. But all the rest they don't have. So I said, rather than letting another brand enter football, why should I not protect the crown Hublot and I take the rest with tag? Like this, I control myself. If I would have let Omega or Rolex or Tissot enter football, it would have been not so comfortable for Hublot, because these guys would have tried to break it and to come up and to get the World Cup, blah, 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 to make... now we have totally football. So I opened a new universe in which we were never before, which is football. And this is a strategy, offense and defense. Defending the positions of Hublot, and offense, tack, blocking the whole thing.
Okay, so here's a question. You've done many of these, I'll just call them partnership agreements. Mm-hmm. You seem to be very good at it. Are these difficult deals to do that you're just good at? Or do you just know exactly what all these different partners want?
Both. It's difficult to find the coherence between the partnership and the brand. If you don't have a coherence, if it's not coherent, then you are not right.
So you go to them with a plan already?
No, we choose them according to our brand. We know that, I say anything, and Aston Martin is coming back. Aston Martin is with Red Bull in the Formula One. So we said Aston Martin is with Tom Brady, and Aston Martin is with Manchester United. We are with Manchester United, we are with Tom Brady, and we are with Red Bull. I mean, and if we don't take having all these elements in common, and we would not have taken Aston Martin, you could have told me I did a mistake.
So Aston Martin is going to be...
We're going to be partner of Aston Martin.
That's
in
great.
The 24 hours of Le Mans everywhere. And also as a car and as a watch in the car. The 360-degree partnership like we did with Ferrari.
That's
and
great.
Ferrari fits perfectly to Hublot, and Aston Martin fits to us. And we're going to do co-op marketing with Tom Brady, Aston Martin and us. We're going to do co-op marketing with Aston Martin, Manchester United and us. We're going to do co-op marketing with Red Bull, Aston Martin and us. So we have to find always the coherence, and then we must convince the guys to come with us.
So you get marketing, right? Like you understand having the desire to have like this beautiful relationship, like you said,
Yeah.
satisfies all these things. Because you know that in order to get people excited about watches, you have to create these relevancies. You know, this
Do you want some a little bit more?
I'm good, thank you.
You good?
Thank you very much.
I've had a lot of that.
You good?
That's a good one.
That's a good one, huh?
Yeah, I like that one. So you understand the importance of marketing, but
Yes.
a lot of your colleagues don't. Why do they not seem to understand the planning that needs to go into it, the strategy? It's not just have a relationship, have an ambassador, have a sponsorship, but make the most of it. Why? Where are they missing it? Because a lot of people ask me, you know, what does Jean-Claude Biver do so correctly? And I say, he cares about the details.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they're like,
The details, yes.
Why is it that you sometimes appear to be so singular in your mastery of this notion?
You know, I try, above all, to be first different and unique. That is my rule number one. Always try to be first, different, unique. When you are first, different, unique, people will notice you. Because they will say, what's that? If you are not first, not different, and not unique, then you are what Confucius has called a dead fish. Dead fish in a river swims with the current, and swims with the direction of the current, and swims with the speed of the current. But he's dead. A fish that is alive goes against the current, or right or left of the current. Or if he goes with the current, he goes twice the speed of the current. So, I always said, we can never be a dead fish. And the only way not to be a dead fish means I am first, different, and unique. So if you want to be first, different, and unique, you cannot go into golfing with time. Yes, but you had this guy, Tiger Woods, with time. You could go back. No, I cannot. Why? Because it's full of Rolex, and it's full of Omega.
It really is.
And you want me to be number 3? To be the little loser who comes after everybody. Dead fish. I don't want dead fish. I want to be first, different, unique. No. If you have this attitude of thinking, you will do like me. So you only need to know, be first and or different and or unique. And if you can achieve those 3, then you must check that it is coherent. If you are first, different, unique, because I sponsor the worst hotel where men go and pay $50 for 25 minutes, and I sponsor the hotel and put clocks all over the places, I will be first, different, unique. But I will also kill my brand. So
that does happen, isn't it?
So you see, so that's it. And people never dare, and people try to copy others or follow. Most of the people are followers. Most of the people are following others, or following other brands, or following trends.
So what can the watch industry do to encourage more leaders?
What?
Come in? More leaders, you're saying
Yes.
with mostly followers, right? So the
Yes.
opposite of followers is
Yes.
leader. So how can the watch industry, and you might be, inadvertently giving some of your competitors assistance in this, but what can they do to have more actual leaders come in?
Yes, you have to employ leaders. But to employ a leader, you must know how you manage a leader. A leader cannot be managed like a follower.
How do you manage a leader?
Easy. By giving no limits. If you limit the freedom of a manager, then he cannot be an entrepreneur because he has limits. And if you give him the limits and you say, you will be the CEO, but this you cannot do. For this, you need my signature. Yeah, come on. So I am the CEO. Yes, you are the CEO, but please, if each time you buy something above $50,000, you need my signature. Yeah, but then I'm not the CEO. Then I'm a manager. Then I manage your instructions. I don't want to manage instructions. I want to make decisions.
Is that what's going on?
I don't know. It's going on. If you talk like this, you will never get me on board. So you must talk differently. And then, if you want to have a manager like me on board, you must trust yourself. Because you cannot trust me if you don't trust yourself. The trust that goes to somebody else must first be in yourself. Only people who trust themselves are trusting others. But if you don't trust yourself, how can you trust another guy? You will be afraid even more than if it would be you. You already don't trust yourself. How can you trust another?
So would you agree that the watch industry is a creative industry run like a banking industry?
I don't know how the banking industry is run, but the watch industry is run with a big proportion of tradition, which is one of the strengths of this industry. But the strength and the tradition is such that many people have problems to get out of it. And because the tradition brings you wow, so you must, like a little bird that is just born out of the egg. And that is difficult for most of the people. And then many people, to get out of the tradition means you must be above tradition. Usually people are in the tradition because they cannot put themselves above. To be above tradition is quite an exercise. Who are you to put yourself above tradition and say, I go to the future? So it's not an easy task. It's not easy. And you will see the reactions on Thursday. They will be very bad. I know it. I have given my instructions to everybody.
You think so?
Not bad, but they will be not at the level they should be. The watch has not been selected for the Grand Prix of Geneva.
I don't know that that's a bad thing.
No, that's okay. But it tells you the limit of the people. Because when you see it is called, nevertheless, the Grand Prix of Geneva, it is financed by the city of Geneva, it's the money of the people. And when you see the board, the numbers of jury, there are journalists of our industry. There are Aurel Bax is the big boss of auction. There are people that are not stupid.
I didn't vote for those guys.
Huh?
I didn't vote for any of them.
No, okay, but you see what I mean. So it tells you how reactive.
It's a self-validating circle.
Yes. It's a self-validating first circle. Yes.
So one of the questions I asked you that I wanted to discuss a little bit, and I think this is of value to people, and it's
Paola, voilà, je crois qu'on a fini.
This difficult to answer question of what's going to be collectible in the future.
Yeah, that's a very difficult to collect.
It is, but I think it's an interesting intellectual exercise.
If I would know, I would buy them all.
I guess the question is really about what are you most excited about when it comes to watches that are being made today that you think people will also notice as being exciting in the future, but long after we stop, collecting. The handicap of today are the quantities that are produced. Today it's very rare. You have, of course, there are some unique pieces, of course. There are also limited edition, I know. But it's a very small part. And in the past, 250 pieces were already a large production. Right.
Just look or find out in books how many watches were produced at Patek Philippe in the 50s.
How many?
Or by Audemars Piguet. Less than 10,000, maybe 5,000, 6,000. When I started at AP in 1975, I think we were at 6,000 or 7,000 pieces. So, and now, it's 40,000, or 50,000 even. Some people say even more for Patek. So, you see, that makes a huge difference for the collectors, because collectors are always keen in the numbers to know, I have something that nobody else has. I have a few pieces from Patek where I am the only one, because they made one. And that has an enormous value. Even if it's a value, as long as there was one. So this is the first problem we have. Super, merci.
Wow.
So what you ate today was all from the farm. The chicken was from the farm. This is from the farm.
Jean-Claude Biver, for the record, eats very well.
Yeah. And the wine is from me.
And he drinks very well too.
That's our wine.
I was going to compliment it. This is
it's our own wine.
Yeah, I remember. This is a Domaine de la
Bonheur. Yeah, that's the name of the house.
That's right here.
Yeah. You can see the house. It's a picture.
Yes,
That's
your
my
house
house.
is on your wine bottle.
Yes.
It
And
has
because
your name on the bottle.
yeah,
Now, is this a wine that you sell, or is this just a private?
I never sell.
That's
I give it away.
more complicated to do all that. It's just it's a very professional label. That's all
Yeah,
I'm
of course.
saying.
We could sell it.
So what you're saying is going back.
Okay,
to
who is going to cut it?
You're gonna cut this.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
This is amazing. So the watches today that are cool and actually very rare, at least have potential.
Yes.
In the future.
I think so, and provided they are from the brand then plays a role. The rarity plays a role. The difficulty to make it plays a role. The quality of which it has been made plays a role.
Tell me
And
why brand plays a role.
the brand,
Yeah,
and
tell
the
me
brand
why.
plays a role. You know, a Patek will always have a higher value, if I may say, than in general. It might have more value than the Maurice Lacroix. There's nothing wrong with Maurice Lacroix, by the way. But those are facts, because Patek has a credibility and a reputation that Maurice Lacroix has not yet. But who knows? Maurice Lacroix might be bought one day by a big group, and in 50 years we will say, wow, Maurice Lacroix, fantastic. God damn, if I would have known, I would have collected them. Nobody knew in 1970 that Blancpain would come back.
Sure.
Because Blancpain had gone. Nobody remembered even. Because Blancpain had disappeared in 1960. So in 1979, it had been away from the market for 19 years. Nobody remembered. Nobody. And so, same for TAG. The prices of Otavia, TAG Heuer. 5 years ago, you were buying them for $800, $1,500. Today, it's $15,000, $50,000.
Part of that, of course, is an emotional bubble.
It's emotional, and it's the actuality of the brand. The brand is now restored. We have done a special booklet for the Otavia. Jack Heuer is back in the business. All this, Aurel Bach is now doing a big sale. I hope it will be successful. So all this will help now, and suddenly Otavia is not anymore 1,500 Swiss francs, but it's now 50,000. We will sell probably one at 200,000, which is unbelievable. So there are so many factors which you cannot foresee. Nobody could foresee that TAG Heuer would come back, and I would bring Jack Heuer, and I would write a book about the history, and I would relaunch the Otavia.
So let's try to narrow it down. What's definitely not collectible from today? Maybe today people like it, but in 40, 50 years from now, like let's narrow it off. Let's
I think quartz is difficult to collect.
quartz. Mm-hmm. Even some like
No,
high-end
no.
quartz.
No, so the high end, in any case, not. Some quartz from the beginning, the first prototypes,
Sure.
or the Hewlett-Packard watch, that was a calculator.
Yeah.
This is so special. The
HP1,
Bulova,
HP1,
they are so special. They have become collectibles. But in the 80s, you would never have thought about that.
Never.
So you see, I say it's difficult to pretend saying today what will have a value in 10 years.
I'll tell you what, I don't think tourbillons are going to be that collectible. I think maybe a select few, but for the most part, just because something's a tourbillon, 40, 50 years, no one's going to care.
Even the minute repeaters. Look
There's
at
a
the
lot of
auction. There are a lot. And they are selling in the auction for 20, 30, 40, 50,000 dollars. Minute repeaters. Not pocket watches. Small minute repeaters for the wrist.
It's a niche
I
product.
Exactly.
It's a niche product.
And nobody would have thought. And why? Because suddenly there were made so many. When Hublot came out, when Blancpain came out with our minute repeater in 1986 or 87, it was the smallest minute repeater ever made and the thinnest. Smallest and thinnest ever made. But nobody was doing minute repeaters except a few from Genta, and that's it. Patek, maybe one or two, AP maybe no, I don't think they did. So there was just Patek and there was Genta and maybe one or two guys which I don't know. Or Parmigiani was restoring, buying all the pocket watches movement and put them in. But so it was so rare. Now, miniature Peter, there are so many. You know, so you see the quantity kills the.
So what about something like the Hublot La Ferrari? This is a genuinely complicated, rare machine.
That's okay because Hublot has not done more than 100 since they came out. They do 20, 25 a year.
It's also exclusive to the brand.
And it's exclusive to the brand, and we keep it at 25. And probably next year we will stop the series.
Is there a material or something that is available today that might be a lot more expensive in the future, unavailable or interesting?
No.
No? You think there's no materials? Listen,
No, I don't think so.
I just think it's interesting to guess, right? Because today, you said yourself.
Ceramic is now a must. I mean, there will be very many. Ceramic is the best material for a watch, by the way, because it doesn't scratch.
Right.
And it has no oxidation. And it has no allergies. Ceramic has 0 allergies. Doctors are putting it in the teeth. Doctors are putting it in the knees because it has no rejection, no allergies, not one. So what you wear on your wrist that has no allergies, that can never scratch, that can never oxidize, that can never lose the color. The color of ceramic is in it, in the material. You can leave it 1,000 years under the sun. The color will stay as it is. So it's not like a painting. So ceramic is just a genius material, totally underestimated.
So maybe in the future, actually metal watches that survive will be collectible because they won't be made as much.
Yeah, maybe. Steel will disappear probably.
Yeah, probably.
Steel is a dumb, stupid material somehow. It was used for the Eiffel Tower.
You can polish it up real nice though, and it's not expensive.
The Eiffel Tower was built in honor of steel.
That was a while ago.
I tell you, it was a while ago.
What's your favorite metal to use?
I love, look at that way. I love ceramic. This is a ceramic watch from 2005.
That's from 2005.
Yes.
Oh, this is your
Yeah, my old yes.
photograph.
From B&B. Yeah.
You know the funny thing is, when I was last at your home several years ago,
Yeah.
this is the watch you were wearing.
All the time. It's my good luck watch.
I love the design of the movement. It's
Fantastic.
Like
Yeah, I did that for me.
Like from
Because
the,
it remembers me, Charlie Chaplin. Yes.
Yeah.
You see?
So this is a
Paola,
10-year-old plus.
Je peux vous demander quelques machins, là, des pruneaux pour moi? Vous avez la compote de pruneaux aussi? Je veux juste prendre un peu.
Do you like it when?
But you see how new it is.
Yeah. Do you like it when a watch dial reminds you of a human face? Looks like it has eyes in the mouth. Do you like that?
No, not necessary. I like it. I like when it looks like a machine. When it looks like an engine. Ah, merci.
So you're still collecting watches?
Yes, I do.
Are you a prolific collector? Like, are you buying a lot or?
I buy less because I have bought a lot already.
Yeah.
You know, I try to buy and build a real collection with milestones where you can tell the history of the development of watches.
I think that the story of why someone buys a watch needs to stick with the watch and be part of its provenance.
Mm-hmm.
I think people need to start recording this.
Yeah.
So each watch you acquire, you're saying you celebrate something? There's a milestone that you're
Mm-hmm.
reaching with it?
For instance, you know, I have you know, there are periods, you know, in the development where a certain movement came out like the Valjoux. Valjoux in the beginning. I have a Valjoux movement from Patek Philippe that Mr. Stern found 14 movements from Valjoux in the factory. Not registered. The box. He opened the box. He found 14 movements. Originally from those days, the 30s, among the first Valjoux. This Valjoux did not have anti-shock because it didn't exist in those days. And he decided, because he loves this movement, and he had 14, he said, I'm going to make 14 watches. We're going to decorate the movement, we're going to rebuild them, reassemble them, and we're going to sell 14 watches. I bought one. I got it. Of course, I was not the only one. Everybody wanted to buy this watch because it's a historical piece. It is Patek, and it's the first Valjoux. And it's Mr. Stern's Papa who decided to make 14 pieces because he found 14 movements in the box.
It's an honest story.
It's
just a pure, honest story.
Absolutely.
There's no anniversary or weird achievement. It's just like we found 4 cool movements. We wanted to do something with it.
I love the story. I said I must buy. And I was lucky that he gave it to me because he had other, like for the 175th
so
anniversary.
You don't automatically get pretty much everything you want? They say no to you? I just can't believe that.
Yeah, for the 175th anniversary, they said no.
They had a lot of pieces, though.
7, I think.
For the 175th? Which piece?
The biggest one.
Oh, the Grandmaster one? Would you have worn that one?
7. I asked for. But I got all the others.
I think you probably got out ahead.
I got all the others. So I was lucky. But I didn't get that one. I understand also.
Do you ever have to do that at the brands that you've been at, where you've had to say no to people that want something?
Oh, yes.
What's your strategy of, the soft no?
There's only one strategy, honesty. Be honest. Don't tell a story. Because stories one day, they will come out. And then you lose face. Be honest. And say, listen, we had very other customers and we could not say no. And we had to choose. Unfortunately, this time it's you, but next time I will do my revenge and I will do, we did now just 10 Zenith.
It's an exciting product. What are you worried about? It's the world's most accurate production wristwatch.
Yeah.
It's got a dial that when you look at it, because the entire dial is essentially the oscillator.
Yes, it is.
You see something you've never seen before.
Yes.
And yet you're worried that people aren't going to react positively. You know you've done something great.
I know.
What's the worry?
You will see. Maybe I will be surprised.
You were surprised with the Tag Heuer Connected, weren't you?
Of the good result, yes.
What?
But that's different.
Sure, but it's nice to be surprised every once in a while.
Our invention that we come out with Tiger is a disturbing invention. It's not just a new material. Huh? It's an invention where other people would say, shit, why haven't we found it? Why didn't we think about it? And then they will find reasons why this invention is minor, because they cannot say it's major. By the way, the president, the director of the Patek Philippe Museum is coming.
Oh, that's a great museum. That's the
Fantastic.
best. That's the best watch museum.
And he's coming.
But the MIH is nice as well.
Yeah, of course. But the Patek guy is coming. That is already, for me, the biggest success.
Are there...
Because he doesn't go to many brand exhibitions.
Did you invite him?
Of course.
Okay.
I was just thinking now if Marine, I haven't invited him, but I think Marine did.
I mean, I think a lot of people secretly want more and more performance. I mean, I remember when I got the press release about this, and I'm asking myself, on the one hand, I know quartz is always more accurate. Just like, strictly speaking for measuring, it is. Yet I really want the mechanical one to catch up. You know, it's like, why don't I just abandon this idea that I wanted an accurate mechanical movement and just be like, quartz is better. It's a weird emotion, and I don't always know that we know how to explain it.
Yeah, it's true. I don't care about accuracy, but this watch will make me care. That's the danger of this watch. Wait, coffee?
Tea.
Tea?
Tea is possible?
Yes.
For me as well.
Deux thés.
Et vous, Monsieur Biver?
Un cappuccino, s'il vous plaît.
So, everybody always ends conversations talking about the future. I don't know why, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've probably been asked more about the future than anyone else in this room. You're probably the only one that anyone thinks has any idea what's going to happen next, or at least has a plan for what should happen next. Where do you want the watch industry to go when you leave it? Right? Like, what direction do you want to, like, you were going to push it off in a direction? Yeah, maybe it'll change course, but it's going in a certain direction. What is that direction that you want to be going in when you're no longer?
There's one direction I would like to be preserved. It's the art. Because the watch making has started as an art in the 16th, 17th, 18th century. And then it has transformed into an industry. The first industrial brand was Omega. They were the kings to industrialize, that means to make quantities. And then Zenith also. So the industrialization started in around 1860, 1870, industrialization. And today, it's an industry. And there are some artists, Patek, but even Patek eventually, because they make also quartz. And quartz comes from the industry, so they use a little bit of industry. But I think you can have art on the wrist, but you can have art on the wall. You can have art as a sculpture in your garden. You can have art in a book. Art is everywhere. So why should you not have art on your wrist? Isn't it beautiful to wear art on your wrist? What do you prefer, to have art on your wrist, which you can see 18 hours a day, or art in your home? Merci Paula, c'est gentil, merci beaucoup. Bravo, hein? Merci. Or 18 hours on your wrist, or do you prefer to have art on your home where you stay only 120 days a year, or on your boat? Some people have art on the boat, paintings on the boat. Why not? But art on the wrist is also an option. And I hope we will still have these artists being alive and bringing the art into the future. That is one of my hopes. The second hope is that we will be able to maintain the dream of a watch. You know, now kids are dreaming about Yeezy shoes. They really dream, or Supreme t-shirts, or off-white shirts. They dream about it. And they are able to queue up for one night. My son is 17. He slept in the queue in Zurich to buy a pair of Yeezy shoes. And these kids, they don't dream anymore about a watch. I dreamt about a watch when I heard that the astronauts had landed on the moon and they were wearing a watch. Because in those days, as soon as you saw a picture of an astronaut, you were looking at it because it was so unusual. So Omega, immediately after the landing, they started to make ads with the moon and the watch. So I saw that. I said, I need this watch. Because I was so enthusiastic about the moon, about the exploit to be there. So I have been dreaming about a watch. Now, we need dreams to be put again. We need to make young people dream. When was it the last time young people dreamt about a watch? It was 1982 with Swatch. Swatch watches has put dreams into the head of the new generation that were in those days 10 or 15 years old. They have been dreaming about a watch. How? Thanks to Swatch, they became conscious that the watch can be with colors. Imagine till 1982, every watch was white, like this, or yellow, like that. There were no other colors. And there were 5 materials: white for white gold, white for platinum, white for white gold, and white for steel, and then yellow for gold. That's it. Till 1982, we had 5 colors. 2 colors, 5 materials. And Swatch suddenly brought green, blue, change your jacket, change your watch. They taught young people, don't wear only one watch. You can wear 5 watches. You can wear 2 watches at the same wrist, or 5 like Mr. Hayek. You can even collect watches. Watches can be fun. Watches can have a Mickey Mouse on it, on the dial. Watches can, I mean, wow. And the whole generation of people born in the 70s, they have started to dream about a watch. I know people, they said to me, I take Swissair because I need to buy a watch, because Swissair had a trolley and they were selling Swatch watches. And people telling me, you know, normally I don't travel between Paris and Geneva on business, but I chose business, so I am the first to get the trolley. Because some people were buying so many that when arriving in coach, there were no Swatches anymore, because they had all been bought. So there was an incredible thing. And Swatch also showed for the first time in the history that luxury is not combined with a price. Because people were queuing up, people were buying watches at $50. And then on auction, they were selling for $2,000 or $3,000. So luxury suddenly disconnected with the price. So that was the last dream. Thanks to this dream, we have been selling watches in the 90s like crazy. We have been selling in the year 2000, with the exception of the crisis of the subprime, like crazy. We had 20 years of growth, 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 growth. Nobody has ever asked why. And I tell you why, because of Swatch. Because all this generation has grown up being watch conscious. Now, kids are not watch conscious. They even don't think about a watch. And that is my biggest hope for Apple, because Apple Watch is bringing back the dream to wear a watch. Maybe not the dream, but the use, the reason. And Apple, if Apple can sell 30 million watches for the next, like Swatch in the past, for the next 10 years, they will do the best thing after Swatch that has been done to us.
So you're a pragmatist, and I think I agree with you completely when you're saying that smartwatches could be the gateway to our watches. But how is it that someone practically goes from wearing the utilitarian tool, which is the smartwatch, to saying, I can take this off once in a while and wear this other thing, which is functional in a slightly more basic way, but obviously a lot more artistic? What's the pragmatic way that they turn into that?
You know, if you want to sell shoes and you go to Africa where nobody has been wearing shoes, is it more difficult to sell shoes in Africa to people who have never worn shoes, or to go to America where everybody wears Nike plastic shoes?
Harder in Africa.
Huh?
Harder in Africa.
Exactly. What is more difficult, to sell a watch to somebody that never has worn a watch, or to somebody that has worn already an Apple Watch? It's the Apple Watch that makes it easier.
I agree.
So, going from technology to art is a normal move for a minority of people. It's a normal move. People, the more they get wealth, the more they try to be sophisticated. The better the food, the better the yogurt, the better the wine. Boom, boom, boom. So the same will happen. If they grow and wealth develops, one day the guy will say, shit, I want to be different. I want now a watch that makes tick-tack, tick-tack. Yeah, I love it. It's a piece of art. Wow. So it's just the move. We are human beings. We want to be first, different, unique. And we want to differentiate ourselves. If you go in certain circles or certain restaurants in America, you see only Apple Watches on the wrists of the people.
Yeah.
Only.
Yeah.
One day, somebody will say, that's enough for me. Now I want something different. Bam. It's normal. That it will not hurt Apple, because for one that leaves Apple, 10 arrive. So for them, it's okay. But it gives us huge opportunities. And I said to a newspaper, we should pay a royalty to Apple to open us the market, to put watches on the wrist of kids that would never wear one.
Last question, and I think anyone listening to this probably learned a lot, which is great. What is one more common misconception people have about some of the brands you work for, the work you've been associated with, that you want to clear up? This is an industry full of misconceptions.
Of course, you know, when we were at Blancpain, people were saying, oh, it's not a Blancpain movement, it's a Piguet movement. But they just forgot that Piguet and myself, we were associated. We were 50-50. But at the same time, they never said on the Royal Oak chronograph, oh, it's not an AP movement. It's a Piguet movement. Now they said it's an AP movement. And it was a Piguet 1185. But on the Blancpain, it was 1185. They said, this is not the Blancpain movement. It's a Piguet movement. and on the Royal Oak, they said, oh, no, this is on my Piguet movement. I mean, it's crazy.
It's not very fair, is it?
They probably didn't do it on purpose. It's a lack of knowledge. It's easy to make a guess that the Blancpain movement comes from Piguet when we are associated. And it sounded for everybody normal that a Breitling has a Breitling movement or an AP has an AP movement. So it's a lack of accuracy, and people are not sufficiently accurate. People don't check enough. And then some people said that I copied the Royal Oak. I never copied the Royal Oak, because when I joined Hublot was already existing. And I agree that Hublot is an inspiration of the Royal Oak. It's I should. Do you have a pen? No, huh?
I should have one.
If and some paper, then I don't, because I cannot stand up because of the. It's, you know, it's not a copy. I never copied anything.
I agree with you. I've never understood this.
You see?
I've never understood this. Visually, it's nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Maybe in the vaguest sense of a profile, maybe people are like, oh, because it has integrated lugs. I'm like, really? Because these are the only two watches that have integrated lugs? It's a strange argument. Oh, because you made a high-end sports lifestyle watch, that means that you copy them. I guess if that's the criteria, then yes.
So, you know, Mr. Croco, he used to be the owner of Bravo. No. He said to a designer, make me an inspiration of the Royal Oak. So the designer came back and said, listen, Mr. Coco, I will design a porthole, yes? This is a porthole, Mr. Hublot, Mr. Coco. Coco said, yeah, okay, what do you mean? Yeah, listen.
So he just drew a circle. Now some bolts to hold the window in place.
So, is this more a porthole? Yeah. Okay, let me go on.
So you draw on the hinge.
The hinge and the lock.
Okay, this is a porthole. And the guy, Mr. Coco, said, yes. Okay, now, if we can adjust a bracelet, which I will do in rubber, Mr. Coco. Why rubber? Because hublot means porthole, and a porthole is for the sea. So we need the best material for the sea, which is rubber, and the goggles and all in rubber. And then we're going to put two hands, and we will name it hublot.
For porthole.
In French.
Because this is a French name. And this is how it is born.
So okay, so no
when
one-
people said
yeah.
to me, I said, are you asshole? This was 1980. I joined Hublot in 2004.
So you just okay, so
I changed this in the diameter. I opened it, that was 38, and I did it in 45. So I made this jump. And then this was quartz, and I made it Valjoux. And then I introduced new materials, because this was only gold and rubber.
don't forget the bigger hands.
And I made the whole thing more macho.
Macho.
Finish. That is my influence. But stop saying that I copied anything.
But it's like people want to believe it for some weird reason. There's no evidence to it. They're like, he admitted it. I don't hear that, but he admitted it in the same article where he didn't like the
Yeah.
tambour connected.
He admitted. So I never copied anything.
So that's why we're recording this, right? Because if people hear you say it, they know it has to be true.
Yes.
But if someone just referenced you, that's just hearsay.
Yes, yes.
This has been another aBlogtoWatch interview. A special thanks to Jean-Claude Biver for his open home and always open mind. Listen to more aBlogtoWatch interviews on the website and on YouTube. Thank you.